We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Welcome back as we're hanging over Cliff Jumper, all the master of the Transformers, hiding away in his little bed. And of course, you know what that means. We got another Transformers toy to show off this time. Legacy Evolution, another Walmart exclusive that I wound up finding by pure accident. We got G2 Universe Autobot Mirage. And much like the Jazz one that I showed off before, this one was from unused concept art that they had created for the G2 Wave 2 line that wound up never being released. So this one is pretty interesting with a lot of these G2 ones. They got some pretty crazy colors going on. So we'll get this one out of the box and see if it stands up to our scrutiny.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Right out of the box, here we go with our unreleased G2 version of Mirage. Pretty interesting looking. We go with Mirage in a bit of an action pose, showing off some of that articulation. Of course, he's got his little hunting rifle right there. He does have some turn right here at the hip. So you get a fair amount of movement there, single jointed knee, nothing extra right there. Really nice tight joints. Amazing rockers down here on the feet. Granted, they don't go in the opposite direction, but you do get quite a bit of movement there. The only thing that sometimes gets in the way is the wheel and drag kiblets in the back, but you kind of move them just a little bit. Of course, he does have a waist turn right here, and he has a little bit of rock. It's very, very limited on that. It's more of a turn side to side than anything else, but it does get a little bit of up and a very small amount down. Of course, the shoulders, good range of movement up there in the shoulders, all the way around. A nice bicep swivel, a single jointed elbow. Once again, because it was part of transformation, no turn at the wrist. We go with another action pose of Mirage running into action with both his hunting rifle and, of course, his missile launcher. It's kind of weird. The missile launcher is actually broken into two parts, so technically, if you wanted to, you could take that thing apart. Let's see if I can get him to stand again. Get him in those poses. He's not going to stand once I pull the weapons out of his hand. But take his hunting rifle out, which the hunting rifle is pretty cool. I like the design work that they did on that. That looks pretty sharp. But you could break this down into two separate parts. So it's almost like he's got a little missile gun and then like a cannon gun. Kind of odd. It's nice that they give you extras like that, but I don't really know if it was needed on this one. So much like the Jazz figure, his rocket launcher should have been on his shoulder. There is a port kind of in the back of the arm, but it doesn't hold it very well. It's a very shallow port. So probably your best bet so this thing doesn't fall off is there's a port directly in the middle of the back that you can port it in, but it looks kind of odd. I wish they would have paid attention to the G1 and what was the G2 versions of these where it was done like the original toys. That is like the one gripe about both this one and what they did with Jazz is they didn't put a port somewhere up on the shoulder area for this thing to sit like it did with the original G1 toys. Here we go. Finally got Mirage transformed. This one did take a bit of time. There's a lot of really odd placement and snapping of parts, but I finally did get them into his Liger GS11 Formula One Racer vehicle mode. Once again, looking very, very much like the original G1. There's a few things that they don't seem to snap quite as tight as I would like them, but overall, this looks pretty damn good. It does have a lot of that G1 aesthetic while bringing it into a more modern form. Of course, like every other figure in most of the Evolution, even most of the Siege and this Legacy Evolution, there are places to port his weapons onto him. And this one, unlike Jazz, he's got two ports so you can port all his weapons onto him in vehicle form, creating a nice attack vehicle form. Pretty cool. I like how they did that. I will say, however, with everything there, this does feel like Mirage. And all the joints on this one, unlike the Jazz one that I have already done, all the joints on this one are absolutely perfect. Nothing is loose on this one. Once again, it's just a lack of porting on this to really capture the G1 aesthetic that they were supposed to be going for. Overall, though, I gotta say, this is a pretty nice damn figure. I love the unreleased G2 concept artwork that they used for this, digging through the history, and I think overall this is a very nice figure. There's a few misses in the way of articulation. He doesn't have quite as much as Jazz, but there is a substantial amount sitting here with this figure. This one is another one. I think this one came really close. They almost hit it. They just missed out a little bit. And because of that, I will give them respect for doing everything they could to try to make this one better. Like I said, all the joints are good. Those unreleased colors, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. They came close to hitting an 8, but everything is here and all the joints working like they should. An absolute, it's 9 out of 10 toes.
We now return to the Transformers.
Anyway, guys, that is all we have on this one. Much like the G2 Walmart exclusive of Jazz, this one has a few good points and then it has a few takeaways. These are things that they probably could have changed when they were reusing these molds over and over again. Why they didn't do it, they could have added some small elements in there. I don't understand, like not having the shoulder cannons for both the G2 Jazz and for Mirage sit up on their shoulder like they should have, because that's how the original figures were. They were shoulder cannons. They weren't like ported on the back or used as a secondary weapon. Not that having this as a secondary weapon, just like the G2 Jazz, isn't a bad thing, but give us some of that original G1 look too. These are supposed to be based off the G2 models, which were based off the G1 models. It should have all the exact look and feel of the original ones and the playability. I don't know why they missed out on that. But a lot of the other things in this are pretty interesting. They're pretty cool. I mean, I like the way they did it. The joints don't feel sloppy or loose on this one, so that is a plus. It's just a shame. It's the finer details that they sometimes miss with this, but otherwise, not bad, horrible. It's not. So it is a decent addition to anybody's collection, especially if you're looking for something that was unreleased artwork, something that was never fully released. I do like that they are digging through the archives and finding stuff like that. Anyway, guys, be sure to let Cliffjumper know what you thought about this one. Later, y'all.
The Transformers.